So when dealing with triangles, you have capital letters, which are your vertice points, and the sides opposite that will be your lowercase letters. So we have big A, little a opposite, big T, little t opposite, big R, little r opposite. Well, in the triangle, we're given that the measure of angle A is 27 degrees. We're given that little r is a value of 20. So those are two things that we are given within the triangle. What we want to solve for is we want to solve for little a and little t. Little a and little t. Well, let's take a look at little a first. We want to solve for this. We know this angle. We know this side. And this is the side that we want to solve for. So to solve for that, we have to ask ourselves, so, which trig ratio relates the angle that I know to the side I know and the side I want to find? Which trig ratio relates the angle I know to the side I know and the side I want to find? Owen, which trig ratio relates this angle to this side and this side? We have we have 6 of them, but 3 of them that we will use a lot. What did you say? I didn't hear. Well, let's start our trigonometric Indian up here. Which one of our trig ratios relates in this triangle this angle to this side and this side? The side. The side. Because little a is opposite our angle and r is our hypotenuse. So the sine of our angle now the angle we're talking about here is 27 degrees is equal to what ratio? There? What would this ratio look like? Which is, what's the things in? What's opposite? A. What's hypotenuse? Which is the value of what? 20. So we have the sinus 27 degrees is equal to A over 20. We want to solve for A. Now the ratio is A over 20. When I have a fraction bar there, what mathematical operation are we dealing with when we have a fraction bar? Caleb? Division. So we have division here. Well, let's think back to how we solve equations. We want to get rid of division, Dale, so what do we have to do to get rid of division? Multiply. So we're going to multiply both sides by 20. Because that will cancel out our 20s here. So in my calculator, I can clickety-clack into my calculator 20 sine of 27. I don't even have to put times in there. It will do it for you. If you just clickety-clack 20 sine of 27 and hit enter, it will get you your answer. Lucas, what do you come up with? 9.08. 9.08. Good with that? Yes, no, maybe not so? Make sure in your calculator. Okay, if you're looking at our calculator, hit the word mode. Hit the word mode up here. Hit your button, your mode button right here. The third line down. Make sure degrees is highlighted. If you have radians highlighted, which I have right there, okay, if that's the one highlighted, hit your right arrow and hit enter. Now what's going to be highlighted is degrees. Okay, so hit mode, make sure degrees is highlighted. And then you can quit out of that, so just hit second and mode. And get your 9.08. We want to solve for t. We still know this angle, and we know this side. So once again, you need to ask yourself, well, which trig ratio relates that angle to the side I know and the side I want to find? What relates the angle 27 degrees to T and R? Okay, and just like we did with the sine of 27, right, whatever the trig ratio is of 27 is equal to whatever what? Okay, follow along what we just did. So we're looking at 27, this side, and this side. And then solve. Then check your hands with somebody around you. Caroline, what trig ratio did you use? Cosine. That's 27 is equal to whatever what? T over 20. So we have the cosine of 27 is equal to T over 20. Once again, we're getting rid of division by 20 so we can multiply both sides by 20. And what did he come up with? 17 point. Give me another decimal, please. 82. You good with that? Okay, now. Let's take a look at our good old buddy Pythagoras. We came down to 9.08 for A, and for T, we came down to 17.82. What I want you to do in your calculator is look at the Pythagorean idea. It says this leg squared plus this leg squared equals this value squared. So we have 9.08 squared plus the 17.82 squared. So go ahead and type in 9.08 squared plus 17.82 squared and hit enter. Then the next line, I want you to type in 20 squared. Don't clear anything out, just type in 9.08 squared plus 17.82 squared, hit enter, and then hit 20 squared, so you have two different lines. You get values that are very close to each other. It's not going to be exact because we had to do some rounding. But it should be close. It should be close to both of them, around 400. And that's once again verifying our good old buddy Pythagoras. All right, we got triangle bend. So first label the sides. Don't throw the numbers in yet, just label sides. Our capital letters are B-E-N, bend. The sides opposite will be the lowercase, so go ahead and label your triangle. So opposite big B, we should have little b. Opposite big N, you should have little n. Opposite big E, you should have little e. All right, we're given the measure of angle E is 57 degrees. We're given little n is 15. Let's solve for little e first. Okay, here's my right angle. Here's my angle. And these are my two sides. So write yourself a trig ratio that relates the angle to the two sides. Check your answer with somebody around you before you go any further. Okay, once you verify the right correct trig ratio, go ahead and solve the problem for little e.
Because right here, it's like the same thing with the share. And that's like the opposite. It's 37.
Cole, what's your trig ratio?
Tangent.
Is equal to what over what?
15.
What's your ratio?
E over 15.
E over 15. So once again, we can multiply both sides by 15, and what do you come up with?
I flipped it. 23.09.
23.09. You good with that? If you're off a penny, don't worry about it. Does everybody understand what I mean if you're off a penny? That'd be like 2 decimal places over. So if you're off a penny or two, don't worry about it. All right, next one. Which trig ratio relates the 57 degrees to the B and the N? Don't worry about solving it yet, just get your trig ratio down. Debbie, what trig ratio do you have? That's correct. Cosine of 57 is equal to 15 over b because it's the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse. Here's your right angle. Your hypotenuse will be opposite your right angle. So we have adjacent over hypotenuse. Now the difference to this is our variable is now on the bottom, it's not on the top. But we follow the same method of madness. Just multiply both sides by b. And now we'll cancel out these b's for us. The difference is, though, is we're left with b times the cosine of 57 is equal to 15. It does not give us an answer directly. Once again, you have to have patience within the problem. But I have b times the cosine of 57 is equal to 15. I want to get the b value by itself. Allie Jackson, what do we got to do here? What should we do to get rid of that cosine of 57? I have b times cosine of 57. What can we do to get rid of the multiplication by it? Divide by it. That's correct. So we're left with 15 divided by the cosine of 57. Once again, you can just clickety-clack that straight through. 15 divided by cosine 57. I always just close the parenthesis out just by habit. Caleb, what do you come up with? I'm sorry, what? 27.54. Yes, no, maybe so? All right, let's see here. This should be a little g. So we have, and I want to find E and D. Okay, what we're going to do, I guess we have time. Okay, label your triangles. We have E here. Opposite big D, we have little d. Opposite big B, G, we have little g. 13 degrees. Angle G is 63 degrees. Write a trig ratio for little e. And solve. Jenna, what trig ratio relates 63, angle 63 to G and E? I'm sorry, what? Sine is equal to what? Sine of 63 is equal to what over what? 13 over E. So once again, this is where your denominator is your E value, is your variable, so you're going to have to multiply both sides by E. And then divide by the sine of 63. So we have E equals 13 divided by sine of 63. Janet, what do you come up with? 14 point what? Point what? 5.9? Yes, no, maybe so? Okay, I'm going to leave D for you to solve. I want to get to a problem on the back. We have big A, we have little a. We have big G, we have little g. We have big R, we have little r. R is 15. G is 11. I want to solve for little a. Okay, what do we have to do to solve for little a? I know two sides of a right triangle. What do we do to find the third side? Yes. Yeah, your good old buddy Pythagoras. Okay, so you're going to apply the Pythagorean theorem to that again. Okay, I'll let you do that. Let's look at angle G here. Angle G, I want to solve for angle G. Now, what we have here is we have little g and we have little r. And I want to solve for angle G. Which trig ratio relates angle G to little g and little r? Mitchell?
Sine.
The sine. The sine of angle G is equal to 11 over 15. Now, everything in mathematics has opposite operations. To get rid of a square, we square root. To get rid of a log, we take it to 10 to the power. To get rid of multiplication, we divide. To get rid of division, we multiply. To get rid of sine, we have to have an inverse operation to that. And that's your second function. So we can take the inverse sine of 11 over 15. And come up with an angle. Okay, the rest of the worksheet is for you to complete. That's going to be your homework for the weekend. Just complete the rest of the worksheet. Question. Have a good weekend. Jalen stay, Max stay, James Slayball stay. Thankfully, Jalen.